Ladies and gentlemen, I firmly believe that you are not given enough advice upon graduating high school. Mr. Habib may have advised you to get a background check on your first friend you make in college. Mr. Dunbar likely explained to you that most of the physics he taught you is basically wrong. And the advice you got from your English teacher probably came in the form of metaphor, so interpret it as you will. I'm not going to even start to summarize the advice you get from your guidance counselors, since I want to have as much time as I can to give you my advice. But first, a little congratulations. You finished high school. To do so, you had to balance academics with social life, homework and sleep, extracurriculars and work, time with your family, time with your friends, time to find your passion, and the whole time someone was giving you advice like, maybe you should find some time to relax. High school is like a juggling act. The only difference is that in juggling, you start with maybe 2 or 3 balls and work your way up. Where in high school, they throw 7 or 8 at you all at once, and are sure to let you know that you let one of them fall, you will either be unhappy now or unsuccessful 20 years from now. But one can only handle so many balls. It's funny. The only joke that you guys laugh at in the whole thing is one that Mr. Dunlap came up with. But almost everyone does drop something. It's impossible not to. And from a young age, we are told how important each element of our life is to our present happiness and to our future success. And we are told this by mentors, teachers, parents, college counselors, our friends. The advice gets lodged in our brains. And we look down at the sad little juggling ball in the dirt. And while we are staring at evidence that our world is coming to an end, everything else falls to the ground as well. Failure seems inevitable, but you are here anyways. Many of you going to college above and beyond simply graduating. So I hope the end justifies the mean, because for everyone, either some, most, or all of high school probably sucked. My advice comes from running the gauntlet of high school and from how I managed to actually enjoy my junior and senior years. After sophomore year, I started to ignore advice. And now I advise you to do the same. Let me be more specific, because I do not ignore all advice. For example, I listen to my dentist. You want clean teeth? You better follow your dentist's advice. But does anyone remember those posters they have in the AC? And not the inspirational quotes, but the posters which told you what to do each year of high school. Well, under junior year, it says take more honors and APs, and your counselor will tell you that junior year is the one that colleges pay the most attention to. Well, I listened to that, then dropped a math claim, didn't take science, and had 2 preps. It may have been the exact wrong thing to do, but it was the best choice I made in all of high school. I decided to do things that made me actually want to get out of bed in the morning. Not at 7 o'clock, but eventually. Every Friday, and sometimes on weekends, I would just go to a friend's house and jam. It was a year I got into parliamentary debate, a type of debate that was not as work as intensive as what other debaters at Gunn were doing, but it was fun. And I auditioned for the spring musical, never having sung or danced in front of a group of people in my life. But I had time, so I auditioned. And I had so much fun doing that show that I was in every Gunn production from that point on. I am very satisfied with my last 2 years at Gunn. I was happy because I was spending time the way I wanted to. But we all have different stories, so it is impossible to say if this advice will be helpful. As Mr. Dunbar would say, my only frame of reference is my own life. So I encourage you not to take this advice of not taking advice. Isn't that a wonderful piece of doublethink? But maybe it actually will make someone a little happier. And this question of how to find happiness in high school has been brought to the forefront of our minds by tragic events. I know that the suicides and attempted suicides of students at both Gunn and Palo have affected every one of us. We have lost sleep thinking about it, had long, hard conversations with friends, grown closer to each other during our struggles, and become more vigilant as a community, watching out for each other more than we would have otherwise. I know we will take this consciousness with us when we go to college or wherever we go, and I hope we have gained perspective to help us live our lives with a little more balance. Because much of the advice we get comes from people who are living 20, 30, 40 years down the road, and they have great advice to make you happy when you're 50. Sometimes we forget about ourselves right now and only think about ourselves in the future. We are pressured to work hard in high school to get into a good college, but it doesn't stop there. If high school is just a mechanism to get into a good college, then is good college just a mechanism to get a good first job, and then is that just a stepping ladder to get a better second job? It doesn't stop. You can live your entire life in the future, for the future, but you can never live in the future. It seems like a common theme to this baccalaureate today. I haven't had too much time to think about what the other speakers have said, but maybe the reason that we cover this so much today is for a few of these reasons. Maybe we all wish we had lived high school a little bit differently. Maybe in the future we all want to live each day as it comes, like Julia said. Or maybe it's because we have grown in maturity, as Fiona spoke about, and now that we are ready for the world and know ourselves, and we have that, we can really start living. But still, we cannot give anyone the right to tell us that for the first 20 years of our lives, or for the first 4 we have in high school, or the 4 after that, that we should not live those years in as fulfilling a way as any 4-year chunk of time down the road. Remember, there is no time to start doing what you love like the present. We will get advice until we die, and most likely be juggling the whole time. But we are entering a new world, one we know little about, and we can approach it as individuals without trying to fit into a box made by the expectations of others. I am so excited, and will leave you with the words of Tom Stoppard. It's the best possible time to be alive, when almost everything you thought you knew is wrong. Thank you.